greeting and introduction. Welcome to our latest Motorize.de feature, brought to you by the #1 source for new and used spare parts. Today we're taking a close look at the Honda CBF 1000A, internal code SC58, a leader-class all-rounder that wins you over not with flash, but with ability. We'll show how this bike turns everyday riding into something effortless, touring into a relaxed affair, and country roads into a smooth, satisfying ride. Alongside its strengths and weaknesses, we'll give you clear buying criteria and smart upgrade recommendations. For context, beneath the half fairing sits a 998cc inline-4 tuned for torque, a steel backbone frame, and a standard center stand, handy for chain maintenance. Especially noteworthy is the A model with combined ABS that links front and rear, distributing braking force between both wheels. In short, lots of substance, little show. And that's exactly what makes the SC58 so compelling. History and development. In 2006, Honda rolled out the CBF 1000A, internally codenamed SC58, as a down-to-earth answer to the supersport boom. The brief, Fireblade DNA, tuned for the real world. Its engine came from the SC57 generation CBR 1000RR, but was remapped and mechanically detuned for strong mid-range and low RPM grunt. Production took place at Honda's Atessa plant in Italy. The A denotes the version with combined ABS. Running updates landed in 2007-08, refining the mapping and ancillaries. In 2010, the SC64 brought a major refresh with an aluminum frame and more peak power, while staying true to the comfort-focused concept. Hallmarks of the SC58 remained its robust steel mono-backbone frame, straightforward engineering, and deliberately practical ergonomics, including an adjustable seat and windscreen. That package forged the model line's reputation. Unpretentious, dependable, long-legged, a motorcycle that stays relevant because it meets real-world needs. Technical highlights. At its heart, a 998cc inline-4 with electronic fuel injection, tuned on the CBF 1000 for real-world performance. 72 kilowatts at 8,000 RPM, and a strong 96 newton-meters at 6,500 RPM. A steel backbone frame carries a 41mm telescopic fork up front. At the rear, a monoshock with preload you can dial in via hand wheel. Braking is by twin 296mm discs up front and a 240mm disc at the back. On the ABS model, the combined system smartly balances brake force. The 6-speed gearbox drives a 166 ZR17 rear tire by chain. Up front runs a 120/70 ZR17. Fully fueled, it tips the scales at around 245 kilograms. A 20-liter tank makes long stints easy, and the 421 exhaust with catalytic converter meets Euro 3. Practical touches: a factory-fit center stand and a 3-position height-adjustable seat to suit a wide range of riders. Minimal electronics, maximum substance. Quintessential SC58, design and ergonomics. The CBF 1000A goes for a clean, functional look. Half fairing with twin headlights, a narrow waist, sturdy pillion grab handles. Form follows function, and you feel it. The seat adjusts through 3 heights. The windscreen locks into 4 positions, so riders of different sizes quickly find their sweet spot, whether it's the daily commute or a motorway stint. Rubber-mounted pegs and a broad, slightly swept-back handlebar take the edge off vibration. The steel backbone frame keeps the silhouette slim, and the 20-liter tank is sculpted at the sides so your knees fall naturally into place. Practical touches like tie-down points on the subframe and a standard center stand underline its everyday usefulness. The 17-inch tires, 20/70 up front and 160/60 at the rear, keep the proportions right and make tire changes easy thanks to wide availability. Visually understated, ergonomically well-sorted, this Honda is built to be ridden, not just to shine. Handling and everyday usability. Out on country roads, the SC58 shows its true colors. Relaxed, planted, predictable. Its Fireblade-derived 998cc inline-4 is tuned for torque and pulls hard from the bottom and mid-range, so you can leave it in 6th for much of the ride. The chassis leans toward comfort, a 41mm fork up front and a rear monoshock with a hand-wheel preload adjuster, ideal when you add luggage or a passenger. Paired with 17-inch tires, it tips in neutrally and stays unflappable even when loaded. Day-to-day, the tight steering lock makes maneuvering easy, the 4-position screen delivers smooth, quiet airflow, and the standard center stand is genuinely handy. The combined ABS steps in unobtrusively and gives you extra margin on wet tarmac. With a 20-liter tank, 300-plus kilometers is realistic, and the relaxed gearing keeps motorway speeds calm. The result? A laid-back mile muncher with zero drama. Strengths and highlights. This Honda's greatest asset is its calm, confident character. The inline-4 delivers usable torque right where you need it day to day and stays mechanically silky smooth. It backs that up with everyday friendly details: a hand dial for spring preload, a standard center stand, a multi-step adjustable windscreen, and a height-adjustable seat. The A model's combined ABS noticeably boosts safety, especially on bumpy back roads or in drizzle. Home mechanics will appreciate the easy access, sensible fuel economy, and high-mile durability. Valve clearance checks are spaced far apart. Also nice, neutral chassis geometry that makes the bike predictable and long-distance capable without sacrificing flickability in the twisties. Another plus is Honda's typical build quality right down to the details like the switchgear and seat mechanism. Bottom line, lots of substance, little drama, a rare mix in the leader class. Weaknesses and common issues. Tough as the SC58 is, a few things deserve attention. The big classic is the alternator stator. It often gives up between 30,000 and 50,000 kilometers. Watch for low charging voltage at around 5,000 RPM or a cooked 3-pin yellow plug. The ABS is dependable, but it doesn't like old brake fluid. Leave it too long and the modulator can stick and trigger the warning light. On the chassis side, the stock rear shock goes soft after high mileage, which you'll notice when carrying luggage. The headers and mid-collector are prone to rust, and the steering head bearings can notch up around 30,000 kilometers. A slight mirror buzz around 5,000 RPM is common. Occasionally the cam chain tensioner rattles. Honda's later update cures it. Sort the electrical connectors properly, change the brake fluid every 2 years, and freshen up the rear end. And a CBF 1000A will usually rack up big miles with little drama. Accessories and customization options. You can dial in the SC58's everyday usability with smart upgrades. The genuine Honda pannier system with one-key convenience, compatible with a 45-liter top case, turns it into a true tourer bolted securely to the rear subframe. For cleaner airflow, taller touring screens from MRA or Givi cut buffeting noticeably once you're at highway speeds. Heated grips and a 12-volt socket integrate neatly with the bike's electrics. On the suspension side, progressive fork springs and a firmer shock add control when you're carrying luggage. The ABS A model benefits from braided steel brake lines and grippier pads for a crisper bite and more defined lever feel. Road-legal slip-on silencers with ABE approval from Remus or Boes save weight and highlight the refined note of the 998cc inline-4. Sensible for preserving value. Crash bars or frame sliders. A center stand is already standard. And if you ride 2 up often, a comfort seat with denser foam keeps everyone happy. Market value and buying criteria. Well-kept Honda CBF 1000A SC58 models typically sell for €3,000 to €5,000 depending on mileage and condition. Very tidy late examples can fetch more. Key checks: the charging system, stator, regulator, correct charging voltage, and intact connectors. Brakes: make sure the combined ABS works properly, the sensor rings are clean, and the fluid is fresh. Chassis: check for play-free steering head bearings and a shock that still provides firm, controlled damping. The exhaust headers and collector box should be free of excessive corrosion. Pluses include a full service history, 2 HISS keys, documented valve clearance checks, and a recent roadworthiness inspection. TÜV. Pro tip: test ride as if carrying a passenger or luggage to judge the damping realistically. A 20-liter tank, real-world 5-6-liter 100-kilometer consumption, and multi-step adjustable ergonomics boost everyday usability. Exactly what buyers look for in this all-rounder. Verdict and buying advice. If you're after an effortlessly quick, refined leader bike for commuting, touring, and relaxed backroad rides, the CBF 1000A SC58 is a smart choice. Its 998cc inline-4 made plenty of real-world torque. The chassis favors comfort, and the ergonomics are nicely adaptable. The A version includes combined ABS as standard, and the 421 exhaust meets Euro 3. Any caveats? The 41mm fork lacks damping adjustment, and the rear only lets you tweak preload. Spirited riders will want suspension upgrades. Buying tip: look for bikes with a documented stator replacement, clean electrics, fresh brake fluid, and a healthy shock. Do that and the SC58 rewards you with reliability, low running costs, and a poise you rarely find in this class. In short, more motorcycle for the money than the spec sheet suggests. And a clear recommendation for pragmatists with a taste for long-distance riding.